All right, the other big story right here on First Up. The Apex Consumer Disputes Forum will today hear the 640 crore class action suit filed by the government against Nestle India, alleging unfair trade practices with regard to Maggi noodles. The Department of Consumer Affairs filed this particular suit on the 11th of August in the National Consumer Disputes Redressal Commission. During the last hearing on the 17th of August, a bench of NCDRC comprising Justice V.K. Jain, Justice B.C. Gupta directed Nestle to respond to the notice by today. It also allowed the government to send samples of Maggi noodles to an accredited laboratory for tests on lead content and monosodium glutamate, that is MSG. Nestle got a respite after Bombay High Court last month lifted the ban and ordered fresh tests on the samples at accredited laboratories. Let's now go across to Anusha Soni, who joins us live for more on this story. Morning, Anusha. Does this mean that very soon, if we were to get a notice in favor of Maggi, Maggi is going to be back on the shelves? What is going to be the timeline of its return? Because, you know, if you see their marketing strategy, Anusha, they've already started placing, Nestle has already started placing ads where it wants to restore itself, for a very long association with the country, almost 100 years.
Absolutely correct, Sanket, and you're right about the marketing strategy of the Nestle that, as you pointed out, Maggi has been on a marketing spree to get back to the shelves, get back to the homes of the consumers. However, this case at the Consumer Forum, at the National Consumer Forum, could be another trouble brewing in for Nestle India. Last time when the hearing went on, the argument was that whether this class action suit of government is admissible or not. However, the National Consumer Court admitted it. Today, what we are hearing from our sources and what the sources in the government are telling us is that the government is going to recommend a name of the laboratory to the National Consumer Forum for fresh testing. If you go back to the Bombay High Court order, Bombay High Court had raised certain questions on the kind of testing government had done. It had raised questions on that, and that was the reason Nestle India had got some respite from the Bombay High Court order. However, if today National Consumer Forum says that go ahead, do the fresh testing, and what we are hearing is that these are Defence Ministry accredited labs that the government is proposing, there could be a fresh trouble brewing in for Nestle and Maggi, because the suit is not just about Maggi noodles. It's also about the new products which they launch without the recommendation, without the approval of the FSSAI. Yeah.
Very interesting. Anusha, very quickly, if you could tell us a little more about this, it's a complicated term, 640 crore class action suit which has been filed by the government against Nestle India. What exactly does this mean for the layman?
Sanget, if, in a normal day-to-day life, if someone does any damage to you, you can go in the law of tort under the civil law and claim damages from that person. However, the government very rarely does this. This is a 3-decade-old, legislation, the consumer protection legislation, and the government has never used the Section 12 to drag a company to the court. This is the first time in the history in 3 decades the government is dragging a company to the court for damages because of unfair trade practices, because of cheating the consumers, because of breaching the trust to the consumer. This money of 640 crore is more on the side of breaking the trust and doing unfair trade practices, but it has a symbolic effect to it for the companies at large and for the food industry at large, that they cannot get away by doing certain things in the Indian market, especially the international giants.
Okay, Anusha Soni, many thanks for joining us this morning.